Healthy can be easy, but it takes a little conversation between the old ears to make it that way. If you want to be healthy and lose weight, but you find yourself stuck in that sabotage circle, let's talk about breaking you right out of that circle and talk about how you can make choices so much easier with just a little change in conversation between your head. I'm Michelle, and I used to think healthy was a totally dirty word and everything that was healthy tasted gross. But I managed to change all that at about 42-ish. I was the first one to call it rabbit food, but at 42, I actually lost over 100 pounds and made the switch in my head about healthy and what it really was. So I want to help you do this exact same thing. There are so many perks to healthy that we often forget, like having the energy to play with the kids or having the strength to do daily activities like bring the groceries in without hurting yourself, waking up happy and falling asleep easily, which, can be a challenge. And then also enjoying the changes in life over obsessing over every little thing. So how do we make this switch? How do we make this migration in our head between what we want, which is to be healthy and fit into the jeans, from 20 years ago, and also enjoy life and move through this life without this list of rules of the things we can eat and the things we can't eat, and how it all ties together with the thoughts between our ears. That is what we're going to talk about today. Overall, being healthy is a choice. Everything's a choice. We can choose to eat like crap, or we can choose to eat healthy. But when you have yourself convinced that everything healthy tastes nasty, it becomes this internal struggle to be the happy, healthy, energetic person that we really want to be, but yet still eat the birthday cake. And I totally get that. How many of you are feeling like this total overwhelm between living what seems to be a normal life and becoming that healthy and happy person that you want? If you are feeling this struggle, then definitely comment down below, because I want you to see that you are so not alone. It's the conversation between our ears that tend to pull us off track, even when our intentions are the best. Now, here's something that you may or may not have considered. Healthy is only a choice if you're aware that you have the choice and that you aren't taking in so much that you're living on this constant roller coaster of overwhelm. I know it sounds hard, but sometimes we just have to do this internal parenting thing where it helps us stay on track in those harder moments. My daddy used to call that embracing the suck, so that we can have that end result that we're really dreaming of. You can participate in birthday parties and reach your weight loss goal. You can participate in holidays and reach your weight loss goal. What you may want to avoid is that eating an entire box of Oreos, because doing that, it's going to take significantly longer to reach your goal, even if you learn to maneuver that little voice in your head that says you're a total failure because you had a cookie. That little voice is not helping you. That little voice is keeping you in this great big circle of hate that just lets you get started just long enough to see a failure and pull you into the next phase, which is eating everything in sight, which then pulls you into the next phase of you'll never make it there. And then you finally get back around to this point where you're going to try it again. Depending on how long it takes you to move through that circle determines if or when you will reach your goal. If you can move through that circle in 20 minutes versus 3 weeks, you're going to hit your goal a whole lot faster. And hopefully nowhere in there does it involve consuming an extremely large amount of calories that's not going to let you watch the scale go down. So the problem with this circle of hate is it's run by our brain, but that brain increases stress, which then takes the hormone cortisol and makes it collect every piece of fat in your body and put it on your belly. And we really want to avoid that because, that's one of the places we want the fat gone. So making this transition from kind of parenting yourself as you move through this process is so fundamental in choosing a healthy lifestyle for weight loss. This transition allows you to use things like affirmations, which 2 of my favorite affirmations during my 120-pound weight loss journey were, I choose healthy. Anytime I was standing in the kitchen and I was like wavering on eating something that I knew was going to take me a long time to recover from, or I'm horrible at taking orders from others. And growing up, I always heard, you can't have that. You can't have that. It's going to make you fat. You can't have that. So now instead, I say things like, I can have this. I just choose not to have it right now. And then I will make a plan in my head as to when I can have that planned indulgence, and it's not going to totally mess up my journey, because there are no good foods and bad foods. All foods are fuel. Some foods cause us to have this craving for more that can take us significantly off track if we aren't aware, which is, the reason you can't just take one potato chip. It's set up so that one potato chip is never enough, unless you have worked through in your head how to compensate for that continued craving. Maybe one potato chip and a stick of gum. Maybe one potato chip and a big drink of water. Any of these things are like little tools that you can use so that you can still indulge a little, but it's not going to take you off track. So with this whole process, it's all about making the happy chemicals in our brain work for us, where the circle of hate is one big circle of pulling you off track. It's that sabotage circle that happens. You eat one thing, you aren't perfect, so therefore you must be a total failure. And therefore you're going to be in the size of jeans that you're in right this moment for the rest of your life. In reality, that one little choice is not going to keep you off track forever. That one little choice is a moment in time. If you go from that one choice to then saying to yourself, okay, it was a moment, and then the very next choice that you have with regards to food is a healthier choice, then you've won the battle. So this transition of being like your own little mom in your head, if your child came home and told you they got an F on a test. Now, maybe not for everybody, but I can tell you that if my child is like devastated because they got an F, and yet I know that they had been working their hardest, I tell them that that F is not the end of the world. What did they not know? How can they make adjustments so that next time it goes better? What can they plan for? Who can they ask for help? What questions can they get answered? Also, that they have a better understanding of the material and it doesn't continue to affect them. This is something that we don't do with ourselves. We don't say, okay, I went off the rails. What caused me to go there? Why did I do it? What can I do differently next time? Because I hate to tell you this, guys, weight loss in life, there's always a next time. It may be a little different, but there's always that next thing that's gonna happen because life happens. And when you use food to solve life's problems, there's always going to be another place where we need a solution, and that solution is going to be food. So how can we go about making an adjustment so that next time we have a new tool in our arsenal? What habits can we create? What things can we do so that when stress hits, we have a different thing to do besides eat? My stress eating workbook that I have, it's actually in the comments below, gives you a whole step-by-step process to creating a new activity to do when you want to stress eat. It's all about creating those new habits. But one of those habits that you can create is a mental conversation that happens when things happen. So when somebody brings an unexpected box of donuts, what conversation do you have in your head? Are you so focused on the fact that they brought in donuts, or are you focused on the fact of what your choices are? Can you choose healthy? Why can't you choose healthy? What is the draw to that box of donuts? Why do you need one so badly? And going through this process of questioning, not judging, but questioning, helps us move forward to choosing a healthy lifestyle for weight loss over a punishment scheme. I watched a TED Talk once where it said, we cannot punish ourselves into getting the result we want. The reward framework works a lot better. Oftentimes in weight loss, we go through this process where we're punishing ourselves for making unhealthy choices over and over and over again. And we make ourselves our own whipping post. And then that increases the stress, which then increases the hormone imbalance, which then just keeps us in this great big circle of cravings and needing more food and solving our problems with food. And do you see where I'm going with this? It's like one big circle. Stress hormones cause a sugar craving. The sugar craving causes us to eat sugar. Sugar makes us want more sugar. So we just keep going in this loop. And when we break the loop, it has multiple effects. It balances the hormones because we're lowering our stress threshold, because we're making choices and feeling empowered, which boosts the happy chemicals in the brain so that we can get on track and stay on track just a little bit longer. So my question to you is, are you ready to choose healthy? And can you see yourself as a healthy person? Because being able to see or make up that story in your head that you're striving toward takes a little bit of effort, but at the same time, it increases your motivation 300-fold, which then when you use the affirmations like I choose healthy, or I can have this, I choose not to right now, it just keeps empowering you and building you up. What affirmations can you use to get healthy? The very best way to make these changes is to do it slowly so that these new changes, even the choices that we're making and the awareness of it, the slower we do it and the more aware we are of it in the process, the more permanent it becomes. Now, a part of this goes back to planning meals and creating the healthy habits. And it's okay to make these small changes so that you don't even really realize it's changing. You can start by getting better snacks. You can start by parking further away from the store. You can start by taking things with you instead of stopping for food. And I do a lot of this with two different things. I plan my meals every week, which is one thing that I do to choose healthy. And then I have a subset of habits that I track consistently. Things like how much water am I drinking? Am I eating whole foods made with love at least 80% of the time? Am I getting in 5 minutes of movement every hour? Little things. And I actually have not only the stress workbook, but a habit tracker and a meal planner. So the habit tracker and the stress workbook are yours completely free. The links are down below. On the back side of those, you're offered the meal planner because it goes into my framework for healthy nutrition, as well as some of the habits that you can create, and it all combines together. So for today, start thinking about how you can choose healthy for you and which habits would help you create this new lifestyle that you're looking to build. All right, sending you off with love and hugs and the reminder that you can do anything for 5 minutes.